You know, if you've been on X lately, you've probably felt it. Something just feels off, right? From all those crypto scams popping up in your mentions to a timeline that feels more chaotic than anything else, it just feels like the digital town square we all knew is kind of crumbling. So today, we're going to dive deep into what is going on at X to really understand what went wrong and why it feels this way.
It's the big question, isn't it? Whether you're on there every day or just check in once in a while. And this feeling, it's more than just a few bugs or a bad update. It feels like something is systemically wrong. So we're going to look at what's happening on the surface, what might be rotting from the inside, and most importantly, what it all means for you.
Okay, let's start with the stuff you can actually see and feel every single day. The things that are clogging up your notifications and making you wonder who or what you're even talking to. And it all kicks off with this massive, almost unbelievable number.
2.8 billion. That's how many unique Twitter and X user IDs were leaked in what might just be the biggest social media breach in history. And we're not just talking about active users here. This is a gigantic library of account info, scraped and stolen right from the platform's own systems.
And you know, a number that big isn't just an abstract problem. It has very real consequences for all of us. This comment from a Reddit user really just nails the frustration, right? All that stolen data is the fuel for this endless fire of spam, phishing attempts, and crypto scams that end up right in your inbox in your DMs.
So what exactly got out into the wild? Well, it's the combination of data that makes this so bad. I mean, having your email leaked is one thing, but when a scammer gets your email plus your full name, your location, and even your follower count, well, that's basically the perfect toolkit for them to create targeted attacks or even pretend to be you.
Look, the data breach is a huge security failure, no doubt, but it's really only half of the problem you experience as a user. The other half is that feeling that you're just shouting into a void filled with bots and puppets. I am talking, of course, about the bot problem.
The crazy part is just how uncertain the scale of the bot problem really is. I mean, look at these estimates. Depending on who you ask, bots could be just 12% of the platform, or they could be as high as 64%. Let that sink in for a second. In the worst-case scenario, for every one human on X, there could be nearly 2 bots. The platform you're using might just be mostly automated noise.
So, how do we get here, right? How does a platform completely lose control of its own data and its user base? To figure that out, we have to pull back the curtain and take a look at the absolute chaos that was happening inside the company.
The first few weeks after the takeover were just whiplash. In a matter of days, the top execs, gone. The entire board of directors, gone. Then the new verification system launched, and boom, chaos, with major brands being impersonated left and right. The Trust and Safety Council, which was a group of outside experts, was just dissolved. And then, journalists covering all this suddenly found their accounts suspended. This wasn't just a transition of power, it was a total demolition.
But, believe it or not, the internal problems started even before all that. This bombshell of a quote comes from Peter Mudge Zatko, a legendary hacker who was hired to be Twitter's head of security. He ended up filing this explosive whistleblower complaint, basically saying the company's security was a complete house of cards.
And Zatko's claims were just staggering. He alleged that internal security was so bad that nearly half of all employees had access to the most critical systems. He said the company straight up lied to federal regulators. And maybe the most chilling part? He claimed that foreign governments had managed to force X to put their own agents on the payroll, with access to all our data.
Now, to be fair, X tells a very different story. The company's official line is that Zatko was fired for poor performance and that his claims are just a false narrative. Zatko's team, on the other hand, maintains he was fired as payback for raising these exact security red flags to the old leadership. So we're laying out both sides here, but the allegations themselves really paint a picture of a company in total turmoil.
And this is where the story really takes a dark turn. Because when a global communication platform has deep internal security flaws and a massive uncontrolled bot problem, it stops being just a social network. It becomes a potential weapon.
So before we go any further, it's really important we're on the same page about what information warfare actually is. We're not talking about tanks or soldiers. We're talking about controlling the story. It's the strategic use of things like propaganda and disinformation to change what people think and influence political decisions. The battlefield is your mind, and the prize is controlling how we all make decisions.
So how does a platform like X turn into a tool for this? Well, it's pretty much a 4-step process. First, bad actors find and exploit all those internal security problems we just talked about.
Second, they use huge armies of bots to amplify disinformation on a massive scale, just like we saw in the 2016 US election. Third, deep flaws in the system can actually let attackers directly manipulate what news you see in your feed. And finally, the end game: influence real-world events.
And in a move that really worried a lot of people, X systematically reopened a huge door for potential manipulation. The platform went from a total ban on all political ads back in 2019 to allowing some cause-based ads, and then finally just opening the floodgates to all political ads by August 2023. This completely reversed a key policy that was put in place specifically to fight election interference.
So we've gone on quite a journey here, from the daily annoyance of spam bots all the way to the global risk of information warfare. We've seen a platform that's struggling with massive data breaches, internal chaos, and policy changes that seem to just invite manipulation.
And that really is the most important question of all, isn't it? In this chaotic new space, what's your role? What are the new rules of the game? How do you even begin to navigate a place where reality itself feels like it's up for grabs? This is the key thing to take away from all of this. Your feed is no longer a neutral space, if it ever really was. It's now a battlefield. Every single piece of information, every trending topic could be part of a much bigger strategy designed to influence you. The basic trust between the platform and you, the user, has been shattered.
And this is the reality we are left with. A digital space that is so important to how we talk to each other, now fundamentally compromised by data leaks, bots, and internal weakness. A town square where it's become nearly impossible to tell who's a real person and who's just an actor paid to shout from a script.